What's up guys, LUIZ here, and this is the second time I record this because for some reason my camera, it's probably be a third or fourth time by the time you see this. My camera keeps breaking, and every time I take out the memory card, plug it in and get my footage off, it corrupts, and I don't know why. There's no reason for it to. I think the camera's just broke. So yeah, I'm probably going to try to get a new one at Christmas, so I'm going to have to deal with re-recording videos a lot until then. You've heard me complain about this before and it happened today, but we have the top 10 transfers of the summer. These aren't in any specific order, they're just here. But let's go. Starting off we go to Morata. He last season was a Juventus player and he is signed for Real Madrid. Now the card you see on the right is my prediction, but we're not going to go into that. It's just my prediction for next year. Morata is young and good and could be a great replacement for Benzema. He's 21 or 22, so signing him back from Juventus was a very good idea for Madrid. If they play enough. The league they're in, League BVA, isn't really competitive, so you can play him a decent amount of times over Benzema, but make sure you play Benzema against like Barcelona. Next up is Gundogan, the Manchester City midfielder, joined from Borussia Dortmund last season. I don't think he's played yet, I think he's still injured, but if he plays fit, he could be a top signing because he has great vision, great passing and great dribbling. There are rumours he could be back for the Manchester derby, and that is not the day I want him back, but if he comes back, it'll make it a better game. Obviously, if Aguero could be banned, we need as good of a game as he can get. Pep Guardiola has signed a lot of Dortmund players in his career, and he is not stopping here. He has gone after Gundogan, and he's got him, and in my opinion, this could be a top signing. Next up, I've already spoke about him before in one of my Serie A rating predictions. It is Pjanic. You can see that's the same card I gave him in that one. I've kept it safe. But he left Roma to join Juventus. Paul Pogba going to Man United. Pjanic is a top replacement. He's young, he's 25, he's not too young but not too old. He's a similar player to Pogba, just not as good, and he doesn't have to get used to a new league because he's in the Serie A. So I think it's a top signing, and as I've said, they can challenge for the Champions League. Next up is Henrik Mkhitaryan. He has left Borussia Dortmund to join Man United, and what a signing that is. Last season he was the Bundesliga player of the season. If you add up goals and assists, he was top of the Bundesliga above Lewandowski, and if you add up if you have the assists on his own, I think he is second or third in the world for last season. He had an out of this world season last season, let's just leave it at that. When he came on against Hull City, him and Rashford both came on, they both changed the game, and he could be a doubt for the Manchester derby, which I feel like really sad about because he's sad about.
Where the fuck did that come from?
I want him to play because he's class, and he proved it against Hull. He changed the game when he came on. Next up is a deadline day signing. David Luiz has left PSG to go back to Chelsea, and that shocked everyone. That came out of nowhere, this story. But Conte knew that his side needed a defender, so they signed a defender. And Luiz is class. Maybe not one of the best in the world, up there with Bozek and Ramos. He didn't deserve his team of the year a few years ago, but he is still a class player. Will he come back as better than he was? I'm not sure. It's not really a challenge. You saw the quote he said, not really a challenge in the French league, so I don't know how he will come back to Chelsea. Next up is Batshuayi, and I wasn't going to include him in this, but he is young and he was good at Marseille, and Chelsea signed him. Still wasn't going to include him until I saw the start to the season that he had. Since he's joined Chelsea, he's been class, and his debut set up Costa scored a winning goal against West Ham on their opening game. He also scored quite a bit. He scored twice against Rovers, and I think he scored against Watford as well. So young, he needs a bit from Costa. It'll benefit Chelsea, it'll benefit Costa, and it'll benefit Batshuayi because he needs to be a starting team player because he's absolutely class, and he's still so young. He's a future player for Chelsea. Next up is the world's most expensive player, Paul Pogba. Man United got rid of him for £800,000 and brought him back for £100 million. Is he worth that? I don't think so. But do we need him? Yeah. Plus, do I care how much he's worth? No. And also, this card on the right is his confirmed card for next year, so I'm just letting you know that because they released some ratings. Maybe not worth 100 million, but he is still one of the best signings. He's such a top player. Mourinho knows what he needs at United, and he needs to sort the spine of the team out. And signing Bailey, Zlatan, and Pogba is the way to go. Pogba, you don't get much better midfielders in the world than Pogba at the minute, and the fact that he's only 22 or 23 years old means when he hits his prime at about 26, 27, 28 sort of age, he'll be unstoppable. No doubt he'll be the best midfielder in the world, unless he flops at it. Pogba has the ability to change the game, and he's come to United with so much confidence. I've been really impressed with him in his first two games, and hopefully he can be class in the Manchester derby and be the difference. Next up it is last season's Premier League winner N'Golo Kante. While Mahrez and Vardy get all the headlines, Kante was probably as big as a factor of winning the league as they were. Chelsea's defence has been horrible and haven't really had the holding midfielder they need as Matic has gone off form. So Conte bringing in Kante, has been a top signing. You know, last season he could run a marathon a game. He'd intercept anything that came at him. He was the best holding midfielder in the Prem last season, and he helped Leicester win the league. If he continues his form at Chelsea, then Chelsea could actually be one of the title favourites. Even if the defence remains weak, this guy will actually save the defence on many occasions. He's like what De Gea was for us. He saved the defence from looking crap by conceding all the least goals. Kante has the ability to do that himself. Next up is another card that has been confirmed. Mats Hummels has been confirmed that is his card. There's only been a +1 dribbling and +1 rating. Bit dodgy. The former Munich man had gone to Dortmund when Munich didn't want him, and now they do want him. They've signed him back for about £30 million. But with Hummels in the side, Munich have probably the best defence in the world now, and in my opinion are going to win the Champions League. Ancelotti can work the team well. They could be unstoppable. No one can get past the defence of Hummels, Boateng and Alaba, and then who needs to say that Neuer's in goal as well. Next up, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and he would be #1 because a player like Ibrahimovic moves club, he's always going to get all the headlines for it. He's one of the best players in the world, undoubtedly. He scored more goals in games last season. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, one of the highest rated players on the game, has moved from PSG to Man United. One of my favourite players before he had even joined United, years before that. I think when he first joined PSG, he's one of my favourite players in the world because he's so cocky. He's got a big ego, he's cocky, but he proves himself. Do you know what I mean? He scores overhead kicks from outside the box against England. He's so acrobatic, he can do anything. I don't think the lad knows what a normal goal is, to be honest. He only seems to score special goals. The fact that he only scores special goals and still scores one of the most in the world every season tells you something about him. Now he's in the Premier League, I do think he will find it harder, but he's started and set it on fire so far with, I think, 3 goals in 3 games, something like that. He scored an overhead kick against Galatasaray in his debut. Scored a winning header, it was a good header as well, winning header against Leicester for the Community Shield. Scored a banger against Bournemouth and a bullet header and a penalty against Southampton. Hull City, the only game in the Premier hasn't scored against yet, which obviously you don't need to when you've got Rashford who can come on to save it. But against Man City, I think Ibrahimovic will score and he will help us beat them. So that is it for this video. If you've enjoyed, leave a like on the video. Should there be players in here that I've missed out, like maybe Renato Sanchez from Benfica to Munich or Mane from Southampton to Liverpool? If you know any players I've left out, leave them in the comments, and if I should have included them, tell me who I should have put them in for. Also leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new around here. So thanks for watching. See ya.